Hi, everybody. Mark Hanna, Wisdom Gaming, continuing the epic 1 o'clock turn of the Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon has managed to turn the flank of Wellington, who was sitting there having some tea and crumpets when he was trying to rally, and he just wasn't able to activate. And it was a devastating onslaught. So, without further ado, I'll let you see for yourself a couple of points about this video. I did put a platform in there to stabilize this presentation. So if you want to skip the part where I'm jiggling around with the camera, go to about minute 8 to see that. And then also, there was one point where I didn't center, I was still playing with the boom, so I didn't quite get the uh, image over the right part. And that's one of the things you do when you're playing with the camera in your hand. You're able to get it exactly where you want. So I corrected that though, so a couple of little glitches here, but hopefully you can enjoy the action. Thanks for watching, and without further ado, here we go. Thank you. Here's the situation. I think the best thing to try to do is see if we can get Chassé to get himself out of trouble. So let's try to activate Chassé. He's got new orders to retreat. So here we go. Here's the roll for Chassé. And he is able to do it. So we'll move Chassé, who passed his check, and then see where we're at. Right. So we were able to move from one ZOC to the other as long as there was a guy that was already there. So those guys pulled out of the ZOC, but they can't shoot or anything. So they're probably going to get destroyed unless they can move again before the Sixth Corps can move. But they're also going to probably try to be moving this Third Corps cavalry. That's the next French try. As you can see, they were able to pull back here. They're stacked, intermixed with those guys, which is not ideal. And hopefully they'll become unmixed up next time. So as formations move in and out, you have this crossover thing, which kind of mucks things up if you're not careful. So it's because you get extra +1s when you're attacked and so forth, or if you're attacking out of a mixed formation area. So they'll have to be careful there. So let's see if there's a turn end roll. Here's the roll. Nope, an 8 will not end the turn. So now, I think pressing the cavalry forward with Kellerman is the next move. Let's see if Kellerman can move. Come on, Kellerman. You haven't been very good lately, but you did get started. Kellerman's still a bit reluctant, but an 8 is as good as a snake eyes. Whoops, so there they go. Okay, so Kellerman came up, surrounded those guys. Their defensive fire was no good. I suppose I should have tried to, well, it was going to be bad enough. They should have gone for the activation, but the minuses would have still been -5. So they rolled, basically what they needed was a 9 or less with a -5 just to get the R result. There's basically no reason to play the card for surrender because they were going to get wiped out due to the R result. Therefore, that's the demoralization now. You can see all these guys were wiped out. That's over half of the ones they had left, I believe. So, wow, that's how quick things can happen here. So Kellerman has activated. And now let's roll for the end of the turn. Nope. Still going on. It will be the Anglo-Allied turn now. Okay, I was told by one of my subscribers, and fairly so, that it's time for me to get some kind of boom arm to hold my phone rather than trying to roll dice with my left hand, which I'm not good at either, and hold this camera steady, which is, it looks like impossible. I guess he's rightly so not happy with the shifting images and the bouncy picture, so I'm going to upgrade my system here with something that will make this easier for everybody. All right, so this should be the last video like this, I think, or one of the last ones, one of the last snippets. So, time for the allies to activate. I think their best bet is to activate these brown guys here, the Brunswickians. Biggest problem they have is Offerman only having a 7 activation number. Here they go. And Offerman, no, he does activate, so I can start moving them around and try to stand in front of that cavalry. After that, we'd better get Uxbridge in here and get started on that. So here we go. All right, so here's Brunswick's move. You see, they were able to screen what's left of the Netherlands infantry, which, by the way, is not demoralized because 5 units are still on the map. I forgot to count these 2 routed units back here. So they moved up. Heinemann, the horse artillery, did fire at this cavalry but missed. Then I had these 2nd Hussars, along with these guys, attack, but it had to be an unprepared attack. I didn't move them independently. So they only had a movement factor of 1. So I think that meant that they had to do an unprepared attack. What happened was that turned into a 2-to-1, as you can see, 8-to-3, with a -2 for, let's see, -2 for size, but then a +2 for an unprepared attack. And I rolled a 10, see that, which meant that was a bad result. So they got flipped on these guys, these Uhlans. I guess they're sort of like Cossacks are dead, and this guy's flipped. So off to a bad start there. The flank is still, I wouldn't say secure. And I think that they should try to get around there. Personally, that's what I'd do. All right, so we'll see. Now we'll see if the turn ends. Not ends, but the start of the end. No, a 9 will not do that. So now I'll probably try to activate, might try to activate one of these cavalry formations again. And keep pressing forward with the 6th. Right, I've realized that one of the limitations I have is that I need to have more than one cell phone or dedicate this camera phone for this project and use this, leave it in the docking station when that comes in tomorrow. All right, so for now, anyway, we've got Rai, but he's not the one that I want to activate. I want to activate the 6th Corps again. All right, they're right there. So the activation number is a 6. They are able to activate. 6th Corps is activating. Okay, hi everybody. So I finally got a new camera boom, I guess. Should stabilize the view for everybody and make this experience better for you. So we're going to try to activate the Brunswick Corps or division or whatever the size that is. These sure were a lot of, they look like divisions to me, but anyway. Here's Brunswick. He needs a 7. And he rolls a 7. So there's Brunswick up here. Try to tune that in a bit. Okay. So, yes. So you can see Brunswick. This is going to be a lot better for everybody. Let me turn on the light here. It might be better. Try to use an indirect light. This thing's pretty good. Zap this thing up to the max. And there's some lighting. Okay. So, Brunswick is here. He has yet to activate. So we put an activation marker on him. And let's try to address this situation. We need to take care of these chasseurs over here. So we're going to move them down in. 1, 2. All right. And I could countercharge, but I think I'm better off not countercharging. So that takes care of that. Brunswick's orders are movement orders, right? So, yeah, as long as I don't get further away from that hex. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that's not allowed. I'd have to... Can't remember where he started. I think it was here. Maybe here. There's his hex. So he'd have to go there to do the charge. Okay, I think that's legal. Okay. So he'll charge that from there. Here, I might want, and think I will, to do some offensive fire, which really should be done first before that move is made, but it shouldn't affect it. So with these light units, see if I can damage Ney. That would be good for morale, wouldn't it? So we'll do that. Attack there. Get our firing chart. Okay. So both guys will attack. Yeah, I mean, they can still move a hex. So they're both firing. And I need to find my fire in melee. Here we go. So they fire. Fire table, terrain effect. Ney is in clear terrain. And so, now these guys, yeah, they're infantry, so they're not going to retreat beforehand. Infantry fire. No effect for anything except for light infantry. No terrain effect, so it's a -1. -1. Let's roll the dice. And a 7 is a miss. You need a 5 when you're shooting infantry, so no effect there. The other guys that could fire also, and may want to, although here's Mouton and those guys. Now those guys have activated twice, but Ney could give them another activation, I think. So it might not be a bad idea. These are also lights to shoot them up. That's a nice healthy stack. They're going to reorganize that. I guess they'll keep that top guy as the main guy because he's a 7. Why not? Okay. But if they shoot there, they have to shoot up slope. So it would be better, maybe if they shoot at this guy and make him retreat, could be devastating. So we'll try that. They're firing with 6 factors, so it's a -1. And a 5. Okay. So a 5 gives us a QFT. He's a 7. And a 7 is a pass, so no effect on that infantry unit. No good infantry fire there. Okay. Now, let's see who else can move. Move this guy up. Allowed to stack 1 artillery unit at all times. but that's foot artillery, so he can't move next to that guy. Yeah, these guys are activated too. Taking a look at this situation. Take a look at this cavalry limitation chart. It's quite useful. So, retreat before combat if attacked with no cav. Okay. Or if attacked by a force that includes infantry. Right. Okay. So, probably a good idea to move that guy down and into the town. Interestingly, towns don't really affect movement that much. Though the cost is just 1. I think that's going to be a good idea. Let's move him. Oh, he'll have to roll for independent movement because he'll be moving further away from his attack hex. So it's a good idea to keep this in mind. So let's roll for that. See if he passes his QFT for independent movement. He does. He rolled a 7. So that allows him to go 1, 2, 3 to here. And that should beef up that stack. This artillery then. These guys are all routed. Yeah, the artillery, well, can't move there. It's unfortunate. He'll go 1, 2, 3. I guess he'll move back over here. He's somewhat protected there. And for these routed guys, I don't think I can do anything. Hang on. Right, I can't choose to rally these guys unless I have a special order just for them. Then those guys that are in that formation could try to rally. It'd probably be better to have Wellington over there to help out with that. So that's probably what I'll do, is head Wellington that direction. These guys can still move. I don't think I want to take offensive fire, so they've spent 3, that's 4 to there. Actually, yeah, he could go up to there. That's a good idea. He moved 1, 2. I think that's as far as he can move. Oh well, I've already moved him. Don't remember. Okay, so here, these routed guys stay there. They're there. They're there. And I think that's everybody. Oh, these guys. What am I going to do with them? I think they'll stick around. I don't really want to go on top of a routed guy. So, but they probably won't melee because there'll be all this opportunity fire at them from stuff. So we'll just stick around there. Okay. That is it for Brunswick. So let's do the end of the turn roll. And there is no end of the turn. And so now it's going to be up to the French. I'm not going to probably decide that quite yet. But let's look at options for Ney as the commander. Ney has special possibilities. He can change an order of a formation, and can rally up to 4 stacks, or give an additional free activation. Now, Nay, if he wants to give an additional free activation, that is the only thing he can do. Units activated in this way can fire, declare melee combat, and move in any direction as per an independent move, but they may move their full movement allowance. So, it's very tempting to get these guys. I think it's a good idea to get that second corps moving another time. So, I think we'll do that. Let's take a roll here. I'm going to put this marker on top of him. Where would he go? He would probably not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just go on top of these routed guys, I guess. Not sure why I want to do that, if that even makes sense. Because he doesn't have any particular benefit to doing that. Okay, so Nay will roll now. He gets an 8, so he's easily activated. So he will activate the 6th corps one more time. So we'll bring the 6th corps into some action. Oh, before we do that, though, we've got this attack. We've got a 12 here, so they can retreat before combat, which is probably a good idea. They try to retreat. They roll a 10. They do not retreat. In fact, they failed it by 2. But I don't think there's any negative effect. Retreat from combat. Don't think it actually does anything bad. But that means you're going to get hammered with a 12 to 2, 6 to 1. It's going to be a -5 on the chart. Melee chart here. -5. It's a 3. I don't think anybody can survive a 3 die roll on the melee table. QFT plus reduction of force, so that's the end for him. First French blood. There are the casualties up at the top here. The Anglo-Allied guy has to advance, and one guy can advance, so they'll go there. There's nobody to pursue, so they don't have to pursue. I don't think so. There's the pursuit doesn't involve any movement. It's just if you can attack again. They can't rein in their horses or refuse to, I think, something like that. Okay, that's it. So the French will be activating. I'll put a white marker. One more activation for Mouton. As a direct activation, Ney will have been activated once. And I guess he can move too. All right, folks. So I made a mistake here about this activation by our friend Ney. He gets to activate 1 stack of his choice to conduct an attack. It doesn't have to, it's not going to be a reactivation of the whole division, just 1 stack. So, that's okay. I can actually pick one of Kellerman's stacks. This guy can actually move as well, but they have to do an independent move, so they have to be able to pass a check. So, maybe it would be a good idea. Come in here. Maybe attack those guys with a prepared attack. 15. Yeah, that guy can do it. If he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. If all these guys could go, I'd get 14 to 8, 3 to 2. Yeah, that's probably worth it. So we'll try to activate this stack here. It's an independent move. Let's roll on the end for their ability to move. So when moving independently, I can't remember if you have to roll for the entire stack. Right here, for each stack containing units willing to do this, one single QFT is undertaken. Compare the die roll with the lowest QF of the units. Yeah. So the lowest QF there, if I try to, yeah, let's do the, we won't take the 9 chessers with us, just this 8-factor unit. He will roll. Let's see if he can make the run up towards those lights. And he does with a 6. So there they go. This guy will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So he will have a prepared attack. And this guy will go 1, 2, 3. Okay. They're going to melee. Boom. And they get to shoot back. They got 8 factors in the hex. So I've got 2 games open now. I'm playing Austerlitz with a guy by mail, electronic mail. And this game here, so I've got components of both games all over the place. That's not good. All right, so in the fire table, we have light infantry firing, so it's a -1. So as you can see, they need a 6 or less to do anything. Anglo-Allied troops. Oh, I gotta use these dice. Subtracting 1 from this, a 6. Just not enough. Okay, so now we do the melee. Melee results are 12 to 8. Looking at the chart, we have the defender's QF. So it's 8 to 6. They're both the same. That's -2. 3 to 2 makes it a -3. Okay. It's another -1 for being in the open. Cavalry, that they're not in defense order. So let me double check that. Yep, they're not in defense order yet. They can be probably by the beginning of next turn. That's -4 already at -4. That's a lot. Okay. Fatigued, no. Okay. So -4 is pretty good. Let's see what we get. An 8 -4 is a 4. That's another reduced result. I keep getting that result. That means both of these guys are wiped out. Bam. Okay. And they must go into there. And they can go after that artillery. Or here, this might be a flanking attack. I'd have 12. Oh, they got a lot in there. 10. I need to check if that would be a flanking attack. One moment. Right, so as near as I can tell, they do get the flanking bonus on that. Probably check with one of my rules gurus to help confirm that. So what's happening first, though, is there's an opportunity firing artillery shooting at him. And it's going to get, in fire combat, artillery adjacent, and then it's also opportunity fire. So it's going to be a -2. So this could be pretty bad. But it's Ney, after all. You know Ney. Should Ney go in on this attack? He didn't do that, so it's too late now. Right, so here's that roll. Not so good, a 6. A 6 with artillery fire is a QFT, and he's got a 9. 7, so he passed. So then, what's left? These can't do an emergency defense roll. They got more artillery here, so they'll shoot. They'll be shooting on the artillery fire table. They've got a -1. A 3. Well, that's going to be pretty good. It's a QFT +1 step. So they'll be taking the quality fire. But they take that. There's a QFT2 with a morale of 9. 9, a QFT2, so they failed by 2. As a result of that, they have to retreat 1 hex towards their friendly lines, but not Nazak, so they go here. It was worth a try. They did a pretty good attack. But they're getting whittled down. And that will be it. Let's roll the end of the turn. End of the turn result, a 9. So no end of the turn. And it will be the turn of the Allies. All right, we're going to have to try to activate Wellington, I think. They've got a pretty bad situation over here now. They've really been blown open, and those town hexes are going to be something that they can route through. I think with the town hexes, they don't exert any ZOC into towns. So if that's the case, and I'm pretty sure that is the case, that cavalry's going to have a free ride into the back door of the Allies there. Kellerman, of course, Kellerman's, have to watch out because Kellerman is actually trying to head that way, so I have to be careful that they are not going further away from their target hex. One thing that's easy to do. 3rd Cav's order is to they're going to a place called Neubertbran. Yeah, that's right there. That's where they're going. So you have to go. I can't go that way, but I can go that way. It should be okay. All right, so the towns, Ezocs do not extend into the towns. So we're going to try to activate Wellington to start rallying some people. Here's Wellington. Activation roll. And unbelievably, Wellington does not activate. He needed a 12 not to activate Wellington. Okay. Can't believe Wellington failed his job. So, I think in that event, then, we better try to activate the 3rd NL to try to cover some gaps over here. I don't really want to have to do that with them, but I think they're the only ones available to try. So they rolled a 6. So the 3rd NL is the next activated guys. Let me put the red dot on here. Actually, the red dot to serve that they can activate again. And those will be the guys to activate. So what would they do? Well, they could offensive fire and move back a hex. I think I really need to check and see where their objective is. It's actually this sort of castle in the back up here. This is where they're trying to get to. So they can kind of sidle that way. they actually can't cover deeply into that area. So, for instance, this guy can't. It's hard to see this. Hex is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he can't cover that. One of these guys can. If I fire that artillery, not a good idea. They're at 6 already. They can come back to here. One, two. They make an offensive fire, but if they do, and then they come back 1 hex, yeah, that'll be okay. So they'll offensive fire up there. An 8 will not do anything. So then they can move to here. That's the best they can do. I could try to independently move that guy. No, if I do that, no, I can try. He could then at least garrison, put some infantry there for some strength. He'll try to independently move. Failed a 9. So if you fail to independently move, let me check what that does. Right, if you fail to independently move, they can only move 1 hex, so they can go there, leaving the Mall artillery unit kind of on his own, unfortunately. But that's what that's turning into. And there's that guy routed. These guys are all routed. So no one of those guys routed. So, yeah, there's the dead pile for the Allies up here. You can see them. Yeah, that's all them. 1 French guy. Let's pile them up. That's the French dead. And there's the pile of dead units here. Wow. The flank is collapsing, I'd have to say. All right, so this guy's activated. Put him up to a 2. And end of turn. End of turn. No end of turn. So it'll be the French turn next time. Here we go. Okay, here we are back. It's time for the French to activate. They're going to try to activate again. And the guy they're going to try to activate is here. Kellerman for his second activation. This sweeping attack is really starting to threaten the integrity of his lines. If all of this cavalry can get around back here, that looks pretty bad. These guys are starting to look like they have the wrong order over here because the cavalry, the British cavalry, is being ordered to go this way. So, all in all, it's looking a bit rough. On top of that, Wellington didn't activate last time. Sitting there having tea and crumpets or whatever he's doing. He rolled a 12 and his activation is 11 or less. That was insane. So here we go. Kellerman will try to activate. And we are going to remember to use this scout card if it's the last thing I do. Okay, there it is. We need to be able to make use of this defensive fire, getting a +2 DRM, or even an opportunity fire attack. So, here we go. Kellerman rolls a 7, So he can move. Let me make these moves and we'll come back. Right, so as you can see, Kellerman has come around this way, just able to stay within range of this target hex. They were all 6 hexes away, more or less. They're all 6 or 5 hexes away here. So just planned that order just right, apparently. Luckily enough. So they're attacking here. Let's put a melee marker in there. And these two guys are going to melee here. So this is a devastating attack. And we'll see if what can be done. I have to make sure I didn't overstack anything here. Let's see, I think 1326, maybe I'm not allowed to stack that horse artillery there. Where will we put the horse artillery? I guess we'll put it in the town, right in their face. Now this will protect them a little bit better, right up there. Although that horse artillery, I guess it might be able to withdraw. I don't know. Not really sure those these brown Brunswickian units are going to want to try to stick around to get destroyed just to kill a horse artillery. All right, so this is the situation. We need to do defensive fires. This fire would be first. Okay, they're shooting at 6. So that's a regular attack minus 1 for the attack. Okay, so fire table. Basically, the only effect is the terrain is clear, so there's no effect there. Adjacent target minus 1. Okay, so here's the artillery shot from the Brunswickians. Shooting at the 9 factor. And, oh, I should re-roll that. Oh, it came out the same anyway. So it was an 11. No effect. Bad defensive fire. Over here, these guys are going to shoot that way. And they have 5 artillery factors. So they're going to shoot. Again, also with a minus 1. These guys are attacking from clear. So here we go. Artillery fire. Oh, it's just terrible. Well, I didn't even, actually, I was trying not to move the camera this time. All right, so 9 is the attack, and it's no good. Defensive fire was awful. So let's do these melees. First will be against the artillery. That's an automatic minus 5, basically. So don't really need to do much else. Once you get in to a defending stack of artillery, it's an automatic minus 5. So we'll hit that. Result, the French roll a 3. Okay, so a 3 is a QFT1 plus a flip. So we do the QFT1 first. Quality roll is a 12. I think that's an automatic elimination. Yeah, that's... Well, I think once they rout and their artillery, they die automatically. So off they go. They advance in. Let's leave the melee marker there because they might have to do pursuit attack. Okay. Here, I have 13 plus 9 to 10. So that's going to be a 2 to 1. Their morale is a 7 with the leader. Their morale is a 9 with the leader, so it's minus 3. It's minus 4 versus infantry in the open for melee, and then a minus for the 2 to 1, another minus 2. So it's another minus 5. Well, you're certainly really learning how this cavalry can just roast your... that's the wrong colored dice. Just as well. Look at that, they rolled a negative number. Okay. So, with a negative number, It's a QFT plus R, plus I think there's some other effects to this too, so I need to check that. Hold on. All right, the first thing is I rolled a 4 on the attack. That's a possible leader casualty in melee. So I have to roll on the random event table, and I rolled a 2, which means the leader has been killed. So that's it for you, Chassé. Okay, you are now considered dead, although activated. I guess we put a wounded leader on there. I'm going to have to look into that. Okay, so flags. Let's see. Players may use flag markers. Okay. I think the number of trophies. Flags may be captured when a routed unit is destroyed. Okay, that's not routed. They aren't routed. But due to the negative result in melee, they're automatically destroyed. So off they go to the dead pile. You can see the casualty pile's growing here for these guys. Here's the Brunswickian pile. You can see they've lost 4 units. The red units have lost 6 units, and they're definitely demoralized by now. So they are demoralized. I'll put that there. I think that I have to put a leader someplace. So as many possible cav have to advance in. This is a stack of 26. So that's as much as can advance in. I'll put Kellerman in there too. Okay. He will advance in. Now, these guys will have to possibly roll for pursuit because they successfully attacked. Let's see if they must pursuit. The must pursue roll is a 6. I believe that for the French, it's a 7 this time of the war. So, yeah. For the French in 1813, 1815, it's a 7, so they do not have to pursue. Do they want to pursue? Their morale's lower to a 7. Their morale's a 9, so it's -2. But they have 16 to 9, so it's going to be a 1 to 2. That might be a 2 to 3. 2 to 3, 16 to 9. Yeah, what's a 1 to 2? It's going to be +2, -2. Be an even pursuit roll if I tried it. Even result on the melee table is... Let me roll for how aggressive they are. I'm going to... This is a... I can't really make a decision easily, so since low rolls are good, if they roll low on this decision dice, an 8, no, they're going to hold off. They rolled an 8. They're deciding not to pursue. So that ends the melee combat for the French. And now they have turned the corner. Although Kellerman has been activated twice. Put an activation 2 marker. I'm really annoyed with these activation markers. If you cover up the leader with an activation marker, okay, you can't see which leader it is. So it's a little annoying. But you can see here the devastation Napoleon's attack has created, having more or less wiped out 1/2 of a... Those guys were coming up to help defend, and they couldn't get there fast enough, really. I was surprised at the speed and ferocity of this cavalry attack. These guys have been cut off from command. These guys here demoralized. Now I just got to look and see where I put the replacement leader since we killed that guy. And it will be the Allies' turn. And Wellington better try to unrally some of these guys. It's not looking good. All right, here we go. Okay, so I looked it up. What happens is the leader who got killed is you put a leader killed marker on that leader and keep him activated, move him to the next nearest guy. They're also demoralized because they only had 8 units. There's 6 of them are killed. So, not looking good. They have a couple more left. There's one more here. Might have another one back here. So they got 4 left, but they've lost 6. So they are definitely demoralized, having lost half of their troops. The Brunswickians have lost 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They have on the map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they are not yet demoralized, although they're quickly looking like that might happen to them. Yeah, now the good news for the Allies, if there is good news here, is that all these guys have activated. Ney might be able to activate one for a plunging attack, but Ney's got 1 activation marker on him. But the 6th Corps has 2, so do the 2nd Dragoons here. However, these guys have not even started. These guys are all activated, but these guys haven't. So, tally-ho, maybe they can do something to them. Now, for the end of the turn roll, it was a 3. So there's no end of the turn. So it will be the Allies' response to this. See what they do. Okay, so we're going to try to activate Wellington to do some rallying. Notice I did once again, I can't even believe it, forgot to play the Smoke of War card, even talking about it. And I think I should load a bunch of yellow markers. Maybe it's a visual thing. It's this beige color. Here, let me put a bunch of yellow things on there to remind me the next time the French attack to use that thing. All right. All right, here's Wellington's activation roll. He rolls an 8. So, he is activated. He's going to try to rally these stacks. I think he gets to use his number. So here's a 7 for him. But when he does rally, I think he gets to get that -2 with that. Let me just verify that. So Commander Special Abilities, rally up to 4 stacks within range with the leadership factor as a DRM. So here comes this guy. He's a 7. I'll move the tray over to, well, I don't know what to do about this. I don't like making you look at the camera move. Let's try this. Perspective. Yeah, I think you could see that there, more or less. Let's try it this way. So here's the first roll. And he rolled a 4, so he's unrouted. This stack here. Now each one applies the DRM individually. And I rolled a 9, so it's a 7. So top guy is not unrouted. This guy's a 7 and a 7. These guys are unrouted. Okay. And so remember, that's within 6 of Wellington. 2, 4, 6. These are all just within 6. And then finally, this guy here. He rolled a 6, so he's unrouted. So that's all fortunate. Activate Wellington. And now it's the end of the turn die roll. Really could use that, couldn't we, Wellington? End of the turn, an 8. This will not end the turn. So it will be the French turn. Put their dice in the tray. Their activation. We'll try to get one more deployment in for this action. The French will try to activate Ray. Oh, better get that out of here. If that was full of water, I'd be really mad. Okay. So Ray is right here. I think you can see him. Yes, these dice are in the way. Okay. He's going to try to activate. He needs an 8. he did activate. So Ray's going to start the attack on Mont again. All right, folks. So just did a quick victory count. The French have 107 casualty victory points, and they've lost 6. That's how devastating this attack has been by the French. So we're going to finish. We've done some defensive fires in this area here. Got a couple more left to do, and then some melees. And then I'm going to end this video because I think I've reached my limit of getting stuff done by Tuesday for one thing, and I think I have quite a bit of material to try to collate and put out by Wednesday or Thursday. So let me wrap up this part and see where we're at. I will say, after all of the defensive fire on all of these guys, I might have lost 1 step. I'm not sure. They fought off pretty well. So now we're going to do the melees and see where we stand. All right, so after these attacks, some very interesting results. The British generally held. In fact, they routed some stacks here. One of these guys routed attacking that, and then due to route contagion right here, I don't know if you can see that quite well enough. Yeah, due to route contagion, another stack routed. So those are 2 stacks that routed right here, okay? But on the other hand, without this card, these guys would have been destroyed, but flipped all of these guys, and they're routed, sitting there. They're basically sitting ducks. On the other hand, though, once again, the guards units in here repelled disastrously the French, losing again 2 steps. So these troops are beating their heads against the wall, attacking. So some mixed results for the second corps activation, but in the main, I'd say it went pro-British. I mean, this guy survived, they survived, he survived. They got creamed. These guys routed, and I took some losses over here. So, yeah. Second corps is not doing as well, but these guys are looping around on this side. So, very interesting scenario. I'm going to continue this later. So far, the turn refuses to end, unlike the first 2 turns. This one seems to want to last forever. So it'll be up to the Allies to figure out what they want to do next. And I'm going to put this video up.